You all knew this was coming. Every photographer and cinematographer and anybody that touches a camera on YouTube has made this exact video. So without further delay, obviously starting with the bag itself. Okay. I use the original Lowepro Pro Tactic 450. I personally really love this bag, mainly because it opens from the back, so I feel very safe carrying all my equipment around in this. Plus it has all the extra webbing on the front here in case I want to strap anything to it. So, first thing I keep on all my bags like this, TSA locks. Ain't nobody getting into my bags. I mean, I guess you guys are technically getting into my bag? So let's put the strap back. What? Anyways, zipper 1, zipper 2. Ta-da! Let me hold it up there for you. Now obviously my main beast is not in the bag because it's right here filming, so we'll leave that one to the end. But let's get to it. I'm going to start off with my secondary body and then just move my way down the bag. So to start, I carry a Canon 80D as my secondary body. This used to be my main driver until I upgraded to the 5D, but I still carry it as a backup camera. It's great. I love the flip LCD screen that it offers. I mainly carry it for time lapses, or if my main driver goes, I like to have a backup. I also use it for a second camera if I need a second angle. This thing has been through hell and back. If you're just starting off or looking to upgrade from like the Rebel series, this is the camera I would definitely recommend to anybody if you're not looking to make that full jump to the professional level cameras yet. Moving on from that, we got the Canon 24-105 f4. This was my first L series lens. It's an amazing piece of glass. It's been through everything with me. This thing has lasted through the harshest Canadian winters and the hottest Canadian summers we've seen. It's gotten soaking wet, it's been dropped. There's even a crack in the actual lens tube right there. But I've never had a problem with it, so it stays in my camera bag as a backup lens, mainly to stick on the 80D if I'm doing a time lapse. Just below that, we have the Video Mic Go. I love this camera. This is a microphone, Nick. I love this microphone. It turns on and off with the camera. You're getting great quality audio for the price that you're paying for this microphone. And yeah, get a good microphone, especially if you're vlogging. And don't forget the cable for it. We got your card holder here where I keep all of my SD cards and my compact flash card there that normally stays in the 5D. And on top of that, because Canada, variable ND filter. I cannot stress this thing enough. If you're shooting outside and you're wanting to shoot wide open with any of your lenses, this thing will save your footage. I put off buying one for a long time because money, but I am so glad I got this and I really wish I invested in one sooner. And when it's not on the lens, it just stays in this little case that it came in, and that just gets tossed into the camera bag. Right next to that, we got a ThinkTank Cable Management 20 version 2 pouch. I got one of these just for everything that has to do with battery life and charging. Got an intervalometer in there just in case I want to do some long exposures or longer time lapses. Not one, but 2 Canon chargers because batteries. USB wall adapter because power. Another wall adapter for my MacBook. 4 extra batteries for the 80D and the 5D Mark IV that I just keep in this pouch because you always need more batteries. And then on top of that, just a power bank for my phone. I do a lot of walking around, going from city to city, on the bus, on the train, in the car, and this thing has come in handy a lot more than I expected it to. So if you're doing any type of traveling, get a power bank. I have this little hard-shelled container that I keep all my extra wires, cables, and GoPros in. That's where I keep my GoPro, the extra battery, all my cables, adapters, card reader, top there, more cables, lens cleaner, charging cable for the battery pack, a little USB 3 to USB-C adapter because everything's going USB-C. Underneath that, I keep this little kit. It's mainly just the air pump to clean off the lenses and all my little microfiber cloths and things like that. That just stays underneath everything else. And my latest addition to the kit, my all-time favorite piece that I've added so far, the 70-200 2.8 version 1. This thing is an absolute beast. It's that magic lens. The compression that you get with this thing is unreal, especially when you're shooting wide open at 2.8. The stabilization in this thing is great. And yeah, I'm a college student. I couldn't justify buying the version 3 that just came out, so I got the version 1. It checks all the boxes that I need it to, and I'm starting to shoot weddings soon, so this is an absolute must. I also keep a tripod plate mounted to the bottom of this because this thing's constantly on and off of the tripod. Because when I'm shooting something all the way at 200, I like to have it on the tripod just for that extra bit of stabilization. And something that I feel like no one ever talks about in their what's in my camera bag videos, lens hoods. For me specifically, I carry the lens hood for the 24-105 and the 70-200. If it's super bright outside and I don't want to get any sun flares coming in from whatever I'm shooting, I always pop the lens hood on, especially if the sun's right overhead or directly in front of me. And also, when you're walking around with the 70-200 attached to your camera, that lens is massive, it tends to bump into things. I like keeping the lens hood on just as a little bit of a buffer in case I bump into a wall. This thing will get scraped and broken before the lens does. In the top sleeve of my bag here, I keep things just like dongles for the MacBook, mouse, a hard drive. Funny story, my MacBook is actually only 126 gigabytes in memory, so I put all my files onto one hard drive and then I back up all my files onto another hard drive. One normally stays on me, one normally stays in the bag just in case something happens. I still have a copy of all the files. Charging cable for the Mac. Step up and step down ring for my ND filter. Notebook, I'm a college student, I like taking notes on video ideas and things like that, so always good to carry one of these around. In the hard shell turret head of this bag, I just carry a pen and a bottle of Tylenol because back problems. I normally have this Joby Gorilla Pod attached to the outside of it because, you know, vlogging, setting it down on tabletops to record something, wrapping it around a tree branch to get a shot. I just find it's very handy to have one of these, but they're definitely not the most trustworthy things to keep such a heavy camera on. And now for the main beast itself, I just need to, there we go. This is my main beast, the Canon 5D Mark IV with the battery grip on the bottom, 16-35 f2.8. This is my go-to for everything. I use 16-35 for vlogging, obviously, but I also love taking wide shots at wide open 2.8, portraits at 35. I keep the battery grip on the bottom because it lets me store 2 batteries instead of 1, and I also like shooting vertically. Gotta get those Instagram shots. And this camera to me is an absolute workhorse for everything I need it for. I've shot weddings on this, I've shot music videos on this. It does 120 frames per second at 720p rather than 1080, which kinda sucks, but I make it work. I don't shoot anything in 4K. It's taken an absolute beating and still works perfectly fine. More on that in another video. Sneak peek, I may have punted this thing across a classroom floor last week. There isn't a single thing I'm not confident shooting with this camera. With 2 batteries in there, I can go all day. I carry the extras just in case. I barely ever worry about the buffer time if this card's getting filled up. It takes both SD and compact flash cards, so when I'm shooting things like weddings, I like having a backup right there in the field before I even get to my laptop. The low light on it is amazing, and yeah, it's just an all-around amazing camera. I've climbed up the rafters of bridges, I've crawled through sewers, and like I said, I punted this thing across a classroom. Don't do that. I'm not saying to do that, it is not meant to do that, but this thing has taken a beating and it's still going strong. I've gotten it completely frozen from the Canadian winter, and I haven't even had this thing for a year yet, and it's held up better than every other camera I've owned. I plan to spoil this camera. This thing is gonna see the world with me. And yeah, that's what's in my camera bag 2019, guys. I should say the kit does change up from time to pine. Time to Pine. Welcome to Time to Pine. Today we have Chris Pine. I wish. I should say that from time to time, this camera bag does change up depending on what I'm shooting, but for the most part, this is what's in my camera bag 90% of the time. And yes, this is all what I'm taking on my coming up trip to Chicago. If you guys have any questions about any of the gear that I use, leave it in the comments down below. Leave a comment telling me what gear do you guys use. I'd love to know. Subscribe if you want to keep up to date with these videos, and I will see you guys in Chicago. Peace.